groovy.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Jim here to answer another viewer submitted question. Today's question comes from Monty on the Run on Facebook. Monty wants to know what my favorite console to collect for is, which is a great question, but it's a question with a very tentative answer because I change favorites a lot. There's been a time in the past where the Dreamcast was my absolute favorite system to collect for because I had sort of, I don't know why, what got the idea in my head, but I wanted to have a complete Japanese Dreamcast collection, and so, like, for a time, that was my favorite console to collect for because I was just looking for anything I didn't have. I just wanted a complete collection. So, like, that can make collecting fun, is if you have, like, some kind of goal. But when I moved back to the States for that short little while, and I wanted to start selling off some portions of my collection, I took a look at the Dreamcast collection I had amassed. I had a ton of games for it, and I realized that I had bought up a lot of dating sims and visual novel type games, stuff I really had no desire to play whatsoever, so I ended up selling pretty much all of those and just paring my Dreamcast collection down to the games I actually wanted, the stuff I like to play, which is, you know, the shoot-'em-ups, the platformers, the Sega first-party games, the fighting games, all the Capcom stuff. And then after that, the Saturn was pretty much my favorite console to collect for because I was picking up, again, all those types of games that I like, all those Capcom fighting games, and a whole bunch of shooters, all of the more affordable shooters I could get my hands on. I still don't have, like, Hyper Duel and Blast Wind and stuff like that, but any shooter I could get for, like, I don't know, $60 or less, I was just, you know, grabbing them all up. So, Saturn collecting was really the thing I was into at the time, but that slowed down too, just because a lot of Saturn games can be really expensive. So, currently, my favorite console to collect for, and I had to think about this a little bit, but definitely the PC Engine. I have my Duo R here, which is definitely a little worse for wear. As you can see, might have to get a new one at some point. I mean, if you look behind me, it's obviously, I have, you know, a fairly sizable PC Engine collection. I probably have about 250 games for it, but I don't collect anything, like, terribly, like, obscure or exotic, you know, no, like, weird PCs or uncommon consoles. It's pretty much, it's Nintendo and Sega and PlayStation, and that's about it. The stuff that I had a knowledge of already. The PC Engine, though, is a console that, when I first got my PC Engine and started buying games for it, I knew absolutely nothing about it. I had never even seen a TurboGrafx 16 in my entire life. So, as a retro gamer, picking up a console from the 80s/90s and having this, like, whole new library of 8 16-bit games, I never really know what to say with the PC Engine because, you know, it's, I guess, technically an 8-bit console, but it has a 16-bit graphics processor, I think, so who knows. I'll call it a 16-bit console. But just discovering a new 16-bit console with this, like, huge library of games, because I know in the States, with the HuCard and CDs together, it's a tiny little fraction of what was released in Japan. So again, since I had no experience at all with the TurboGrafx, the entire PC Engine library is something that was totally new to me. So all of those, like, hundreds of games, maybe even approaching 1,000 games with the HuCards and CDs together, it's kind of exciting to be able to walk into a store and go straight to their PC Engine collection and just, like, pour over it and find all these games that, like, you didn't even know were released for it. Just the other day when I was in my local book off, which never has PC Engine games, I looked down on the shelf and nestled between some Saturn and Dreamcast games was, like, 4 PC Engine games, and I got super excited because anytime I see PC Engine, it's almost like a little, like, mystery, like, you never know what you're gonna get, because there's, you know, you can see here, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's still a bunch of shooters and platformers and all kinds of stuff that I don't have for the system that I would like to have, and so I picked up those 4 games, and I already had 3 of them, but then one of them I didn't have. It was Daisenpu Custom, which is a shoot-'em-up, a toe-playing shooter, and I love collecting shooters for the PC Engine because there are a ton of them, and most of them are pretty good. Some of them are mediocre to subpar, but for the most part, I would say like maybe like 70% of the shooters on the PC Engine are good to above average. So I was excited just to find like that one game there, but still, if I go to like a shop in Akihabara or somewhere, just going to the PC Engine section, I find all kinds of stuff that I want. The drawback is that collecting for PC Engine can be kind of expensive. Just for example, I really want a copy of Double Dragon 2 for the PC Engine CD, but that's a fairly expensive game these days. It's at least $100, and so I've come across copies of it that I couldn't buy because it's hard to justify spending $100 to $150 when you don't have like, you know, a whole lot of income. And it's, you know, I mean, I know what it is. It's Double Dragon 2, and it's got cool cutscenes and everything, and I really want to play it. But $100+ is a little hard to justify, and that's kind of the same with some of the shooters and platformers that I want for the console as well. And I'm working up towards those, but just as it stands with the collection that I have for the series now, or the collection that I have for the console now that I'm very happy with, because there are so many games here that I discovered after getting the PC Engine. The East series, I had never tried the East series before. After watching some of Johnny Millennium's videos about it, I now have East 1 through 4 on the PC Engine, and they're all great. I also have the Valis games and Dracula X, and just so many shooters, Star Soldier and Lords of Thunder and Spriggan. So there's just so much on the console that I have already that I really enjoy playing, and there's so much for it that I still want, that it's still like an exciting console for me to collect for. I have no goal for my collecting with this console. I just kind of walk into any PC Engine section blind and just start digging through it and see what sticks out to me. But that also, I guess, having a goal, not having a goal, whatever, that can make it exciting. Whatever it is, if the console that you're collecting for has a lot of games on it that you enjoy playing and a lot more that you would still like to get, that makes it fun to collect for. And especially when you don't really know all that much about the library, you kind of remain ignorant about it. That makes it a little extra fun, because you can just like walk in and maybe find some hidden treasure for the system, or maybe come up with a dud, which has happened to me more than a few times. But either way, this PC Engine Duo R, I have gotten a lot of enjoyment out of. I still get a lot of enjoyment out of it, and I still really enjoy picking up new games for it, and just, you know, it's like one of those Kinder eggs or whatever, just opening it up and seeing what comes out, and maybe you get something fun, or maybe you get, I don't know, if there's anything bad that comes in those, maybe you get sauerkraut in it or something. But anyway, PC Engine, like I said, it's a tentative answer because I've had other favorites in the past, and for one reason or another, you know, they weren't my favorite anymore. So that could happen with the PC Engine someday. You never know. But for the time being, the PC Engine, my personal favorite console to collect for. I'd recommend to everyone out there, if you are a retro gamer and you haven't tried the PC Engine yet, I would say go for it. It can be a little expensive to collect for, but I think, you know, the Duo R, obviously kind of pricey these days, but you can buy things separately. You could buy your PC Engine and then an interface unit and a CD unit. If you can get all those things separately for cheaper and get the you know, the system cards as well, that might be a way to go. And then you can start getting into Hue cards. And I would say just start with the basics. Start with like the PC Ginjins and the Star Soldiers and things like that. The stuff that's not that expensive. And just feel the console out and see how you like it. And if it's something you're into, then get ready, because there's a massive library of games for it. And a lot of them are very good games. Anyway, again, thanks Monty for your question. PC Engine, my current favorite console to collect for. Love it a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, down in the comments, not the consoles. I'm talking about a console. Now I'm talking about the comments. Down in the comments, let me know what are your favorite consoles to collect for and why. I'd really like to know. And if you have any questions for me, you can always post those in the comments, or you can contact me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can PM me here on YouTube if you want to. That's always fine. I enjoy getting questions and answering questions, so feel free to do that. Anyway, thank you everybody for listening to me ramble on for a little bit about PC Engine. Thanks for watching, Take care, everybody. Goodbye.